Although living a normal family life in Rome with his wife and 3 children, Greece was never far from the king's thoughts. He always planned to return to his beloved country.
I decided to act. I did not succeed, but it remains my duty and purpose to restore parliamentary rule to Greece. Let us be perfectly realistic. I have no actual power at my command now, but I do have behind my purpose the desire of every Greek to live in freedom.
In 1973, a mutiny in the Greek navy indicated that the dictators were not completely in control of the military. George Papadopoulos, the self-appointed president of Greece, claimed that the king had been implicated in the plot from his exile in Rome. Papadopoulos brought in a law declaring Greece a republic, himself the president, and the king therefore deposed. After your counter-coup failed, you left Greece. Why did you leave your country? Shouldn't you have stayed there and fought along with your people against dictatorship?
It would have been impossible for me, absolutely impossible, to stay on in Greece as sovereign, as king, with a dictatorship. You cannot have a constitutional monarch or a king reigning and at the same time have a military dictatorship. It never works, and it shouldn't work. So it's not a question of you sit back and you think now, should I do this or should I do that? You have to decide right then and there, do I do that? Do I do that? Do I stay? Do I go? Do I fight? Do I not fight? You know, that sort of thing has to be done very quickly. And you have to take a decision. That's life. You take a decision, and then you pay the consequences afterwards.
A few months later, in mid-November 1973, the uprising of the students in the Polytechnic University opened the way for the downfall of the junta. At this crucial stage for the country's future, Greece was in need of a new leader. This man would be Constantine Karamanlis, the former pro-royalist prime minister who had exiled himself to Paris after his fallout with Constantine's father, King Paul. Despite Karamanlis being in the past the favorite son of the traditionally monarchist right. According to the king, Karamanlis promised to restore him back to the throne. Although the 1973 Republican Constitution conducted by the dictators was generally regarded as illegal, the monarchy was not restored. Karamanlis continued to rule Greece until 1981, when the Socialist Party won the elections, bringing the founder of PASOK, the socialist movement, Andreas Papandreou, son of George Papandreou, to power. Karamanlis was a pro-royalist, wasn't he? What is it that changed his stance towards you? Was it a different agenda, maybe?
You can put any word you like on it. He took a decision. I think he felt that he could get away with it. I didn't go back that night. I could have gone back that night myself. Because the Greek people came out into the streets not to receive Constantine, neither to receive Karamanlis. The people came out that night because they felt they were free. It's over, dictatorship is over. So they came pouring into the streets. Anybody who came back would be a hero that night, no question about it.
So he was still considering you the head of state?
Karamanlis made a public statement, and most of the parties accepted I was the only representative of legality in the country left. That was the focal point of legality. And that's why he said to me that I will swear my head to the legal head of state. In any case, I never heard from him again, and he went back and he took the oath of office and proceeded from there.
The monarchy had one point in the non-left, let's say, sector of Greek society because of the civil war, because of an anomaly. The anomaly strengthened the hand of the monarchy, but temporarily. When the danger was over, most Greeks were not terribly keen towards the monarchy. They did not feel the monarchy was a big blessing.
For the past 3 decades, this house in North London has welcomed royalty from all over the world. Constantine's cousin is Prince Philip of Britain, and he is also Prince William's godfather. But as Constantine explains, house doesn't necessarily mean home.
5 children growing up in this house, with my wife and all that, it has been wonderful. Home will always be Greece. And I have, let's say, 3 chapters. When I was there in my old home, when I was here, and that was home away from home. And when I sell this to buy a house in Greece, it'll be the last chapter.
To the former king and his family, this is home, the Tatoi estate in northern Athens. Today, this place is just the remnant of a glorious past. Abandoned by the Greek state, the house is full of boxes containing Constantine's past and Greece's history. Andreas Papandreou had been the leading figure in Greek politics since 1981, when he was for the first time elected as a prime minister, winning the support of the vast majority of the Greek people. In 1993, he was re-elected as premier, despite being tried for his alleged involvement in a financial scandal. In 1994, a law passed by the socialist prime minister Andreas Papandreou stripped Constantine of his Greek citizenship, passport and all property. The bill was signed into law by then-President Karamanlis. The king was forced to change his name to Constantine the Grecia, which means of Greece in Spanish, and took a Danish passport, his wife's home country. The estate in Tatoi, an object of dispute between the king and the Greek state, was finally taken from Constantine. The European Court of Human Rights ruled that the king's rights were violated.
I had a Greek passport given to me by the Greek government, by both parties, in which it stated that my name is Constantine, former king of the Hellenes. And that passport I used for about 10-15 years. Suddenly I'm told that that's gone and I can't use that anymore. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm disappointed that I didn't get my home back. That's basically what it is. And I think that if the court had allocated a much higher amount, that would have made the government negotiate to return my house instead of having to pay.
So you're saying that it is your property,
Exactly.
not the Greek people's property?
No, it has nothing to do with the Greek people. My great-grandfather bought it when he came over to Greece. He brought the money from Denmark. It was not bought with his salary as king. It was money that he had from Denmark, and he bought that property so he could have his own private house while he was in Greece. And that passed on to the family.
After a 10-year court battle, the European Court compensated Constantine with $14 million for the Tatoi estate.
What happens in life and what's happened to you, you have to accept it and get on with your life. My luck was that when I left my country and I stopped being the head of state of Greece, I was very young. I was 26, not yet 27, and if it had happened to me later in life, it would have been much, much more difficult for me to cope, because you have to suddenly realize that what you say doesn't matter anymore. The telephone is not going to ring that always rang.
Greece today is a member of the European Union, a stable parliamentary republic electing its president every 5 years.
Doesn't it make more sense, though, for the people to elect their own president?
We have to accept that what is best for the country is what the people want. And the people don't want to have a republic, they want to have a monarchy. They should have it.
Would you like to see your son Pavlos on the Greek throne one day?
Only if the Greek people want it, but that's not going to happen now.
I expect that there is a small minority of people who still pine for the monarchy, but on the whole, nobody thinks much about the monarchy. When they do come to Greece, the family, people I think look with sympathy because it's a handsome family, nice looking people, pleasant. That's the extent of it. There's no particular feeling either for or against.
Are you aware of the fact that there are Greeks who say, you're not even Greek?
My family came to Greece 150 years ago, more. Is there going to be a time limit where somebody's going to tell me that I'm Greek? Secondly, I don't recognize anybody in my country who is entitled to tell me if I am or if I'm not, because that was unacceptable to me. I was born to Greek parents, I pay Greek taxes, served in the Greek armed forces, won a gold medal for Greece, became head of state of Greece, became protector of the Greek faith, and suddenly now, after 50 years, somebody's going to tell me, maybe you're not Greek? No.
I don't see him as a threat anymore. to democracy, to the political system of Greece. Just because he was king once in Greece, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the right to visit the country whenever he likes.
And buy a house and buy property here?
That's okay. That's fine. I mean, I view him as like anyone of us, like a foreigner who comes to Greece and wants to spend some time here.
And now we have Republic, and we are very happy to have it, and the system works good. And also not to forget that Greece was the cradle of democracy.
Many nations have king and republic together, but this is something that in Greek people don't, is not very familiar with that thing. Better republic than anything else.
I think the present Greek Republic is a good republic. It works. The parliament works. There's freedom in Greece. There's no doubt about that. There's no reason why anybody should set such a question now. So I'd say in the foreseeable future, no, there's no possibility of that happening. But history is full of surprises, one never knows.
From a very young age, Constantine had a strong affinity for the sea, a love that would endure a lifetime.
I think what I learned from sailing is, first of all, you learn a very important thing. You learn how to lose. And if you don't know how to lose, you will never win.
This man had to compromise with losing something major: his kingdom, his country, his identity, and the love of his people. In fairy tales, things are always romantic. The kings and the queens end up living in their kingdoms happily ever after. In the real world, it is people who have the power and who get the power to shape their present and their future.